Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sean Brodrick. He's the senior analyst for EdelSonInstitute.com. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks very much for having me back.
Canada, you say, is doing exceptionally well. Our government predicted a year ago we'd suck. They did.
What a statement. Why did they say that?
Well, maybe they just didn't want to build up our expectations. Well, if you say you're going to suck and then you have decent growth, you look brilliant.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure your subscribers are like watching the Canadian stock market now, and I like the gaps higher and all sorts of issues. It's really, really nice. I have to tell you, marijuana is leading the way. I mean, the cannabis stocks, the leading ones anyway, seem bulletproof. And I have some in my portfolios which are just looking extraordinarily strong despite the already tremendous gains that they've made. And I believe the reason for that is in the middle of next year, Canada will have recreational legalization, right?
July 1st, Canada Day.
Yes, exactly. And
come on up and watch the fireworks.
Right, exactly. Well, now, we know the most recent cited estimates is that we will see demand in Canada of like 600,000 kilograms. They came from Deloitte. That was their estimate in August 2016. And the Parliamentary Budget Office gave a projection of 650,000 kilograms. But a new research firm, or not new, they have been around, but they have made a new forecast called MPG. They're out of Colorado. They say Canadian demand for marijuana flower equivalent could exceed 900,000 kilograms next year. And so, while many people think that marijuana stocks are, overbought, we really don't know what the demand will be. But if the demand is higher than expected, then yeah, these things could go much higher. Plus, you have things like acquisitions. I mean, we've already seen a big U.S. beer and soda company buy stake in Canopy Growth. But we're probably going to see more of that with these international beverage companies coming and taking positions, because that's a portal to a great booming market, So I expect we'll see more of that. Now we see that Shoppers Drug Mart wants to sell cannabis online through its big website. So, next year looks exceptionally strong. We are seeing stocks ramp up ahead of that. I don't know if I'll be holding them through legalization. Maybe money will come off the table before legalization hits. But at this point, if you're looking for a place where you can make money and the odds aren't that much against you, I would look at Canadian cannabis. It's really, really looking strong right now.
Of course, when you have a brand new industry, I've heard in some cases we are already overproduced. There's warehouses full of this stuff.
Of course, there will be doomsayers all the time. On the other hand, we have other analysis coming out saying that we aren't overproducing. Plus, there's the fact Canada can now export to other markets in the world. And so exporting to Europe, exporting to South America, you name it. Now, I'm not saying that's going to keep on forever. You would think at some point it becomes cheaper to grow it in those locations than it is to grow it in Canada and ship it. But nonetheless, it's a growing, booming industry. I wouldn't rain on that parade yet. I think that has a long way to go. And it's certainly much more substantial than cryptocurrency. So, many people are investing in those. I don't. And I wish my subscribers who do all sorts of luck. They come up at these conferences and they let me know about what's going on and why they're investing in cryptocurrencies and how they're doing well and stuff like that. And I wish them all the best. I mean, I hope things go really, really well, but that's really based on nothing but, greed and Asian buying. Asian buying and the fact that, 40% of Bitcoin is held by, 1,000 people. So we're seeing this, panic buying out of Asia, which has this big fear of, missing out. We're seeing all the crooks and scoundrels buy it because it is a way to transport their wealth without the government knowing about it. And yet, at the same time, we haven't seen adverse conditions in that market yet. When the selling comes, will there be anything underneath, or else will it be a big trapdoor? I'd much rather invest in cannabis, which is a real market. We know people actually use it. It's a market where the product will be used up over time, so we'll always need more of it. I just think things look good in that area.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
I'm Brian Fowler, president of Blind Creek Resources Limited, listed on the TSX Venture Exchange, ticker symbol BCK. Blind Creek is focused in the Yukon, Northwest Territories, and British Columbia. The company's key property is the Blend Project, one of the largest undeveloped lead zinc silver deposits in Western Canada, plus plans to advance the recently acquired, fully permitted historic Engineer gold mine in the Atlan district of northwestern BC. Check us out at blindcreekresources.com.
I'm Greg Johnston, CEO of Carl Data Solutions, an industrial Internet of Things company that provides big data solutions for monitoring critical infrastructure. Carl Data offers machine learning and predictive analytics features through our cloud-based applications to deliver key asset-saving operational insights from massive amounts of data. Carl Data trades on the CSE, symbol CRL, and the Pink, symbol CDTAF. For more details on Carl Data, please visit carlsolutions.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, what's your feeling about crude oil? It keeps going up at a time of the year it usually goes down.
Well, it is down today, and many people are trying to call it double top at the moment. I think it can run much higher. We've seen OPEC and the Russians extend their cuts through the end of next year. Venezuela is now having serious difficulty exporting its oil because of all its financial problems. I mean, it actually takes money to ship oil out, and they seem to have run out of it. There are other things that can go wrong. Yes, we know there is more oil supposed to come online from, say, the Kurdish region. We know that the drills are back at work in the U.S. oil and gas shale plays and stuff like that. That's all true. But for the time being, it seems like growth is ahead of supply, at least the supply that the big producers are willing to release into the market. So that looks bullish. Can it end? Of course it can end. If disagreement between OPEC and Russia falls apart, you'll see the price of oil go lower in a hurry. It's just it hasn't happened yet, and they've had extraordinary discipline in maintaining those cuts. So I expect, things will go along pretty smoothly.
Well, I also suspect that oil producers have become a lot more efficient, and maybe the prices today are good enough to keep them going.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I look for in my picks for Super Cycle Investor, is that I try and find the lowest price producers in any field, because those are the ones that will be able to keep going when there is a downturn and the competition gets driven out of business. These are the ones that will actually be able to survive. And again, this seems to be a theme that we're talking about, but if you're investing for the long term, you have to be able to survive the downturns. And oil has seen plenty of downturns. Those guys wised up so much when oil fell from over $100 to down into the 40s. Boy, did they learn some hard lessons, and they learned them fast. And I saw some great producers that have really, really become much leaner, more efficient companies. And so they can make tremendous gains as the price of oil goes higher. Now, where is it going from here? I think the price of West Texas Intermediate, because it isn't just one oil price. I'm sure all your listeners know that. But price of West Texas intermediate is easily heading to $65 per barrel. I think above that would just be spikes, not anything long term. But yeah, we're definitely going to see $65 per barrel next year. And there are a bunch of companies that can make some tremendous profits at that level.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Magnum Gold Corp. Inc., MGI on the TSX Venture Exchange. A 2015 drill program on the LH property intersected high-grade gold, including 16.9 meters of 13.58 grams and 11 meters of 20.66 grams per ton gold. A follow-up drill program is planned to further evaluate previously identified subsurface high-grade gold mineralization. Please visit our website at magnumgoldcorp.com.
Keep informed. Receive our weekly recap of thought-provoking articles, podcasts, and radio delivered to your inbox for free. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage, HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Everybody and their dog is saying the markets are just too high. We're going to have a major correction sometime in the new year, maybe a Black Friday somewhere in January. What's your feeling about that?
I think the biggest risk to the market, it's one that Josh Brown wrote about recently, is if President Trump fires former FBI Director John Mueller, who is investigating Trump, and so that triggers a series of public protests, which could get violent and like that kind of thing. So yeah, there is some risk to the market. The other risk, which has always been a ticking time bomb, is what's going on with the China debt situation. But really, that's been ticking for quite some while. So to say that it's going to go off in the next year, that's really anybody's guess when that thing blows up in our faces. And it could go on for quite some time. There are some risks in this market. But look at the areas where, things are going to be strong anyway. Look at energy metals. Cobalt is breaking out again. And the cobalt stocks that I own are up quite a bit. One's up 25% today alone. I mean, there are tremendous surges in the energy metals. Lithium fell asleep for a long time, but I'm starting to see some life in that sector too. And you have the other energy metals as well. Everyone was scared out of copper, and it's true that the use for like energy that we see in copper is a very small slice of the pie. Nonetheless, everyone was scared out of copper because of some bad news out of China, but it was only 1 month of bad news. The next month, their use figures came in and like everything looked great again. So I would look at the energy metals because, yeah, we will see some problems in the big major indices eventually. I mean, that always happens. The problem is we keep hearing the same story from the same people, and they keep saying this stuff will happen, and then at some point they'll be right. But what about all the profits you missed in the middle of that, right? So you have that. No one really knows what's going to happen with the big market. On the other hand, we have a certified mega trend in electric vehicles and a surefire super cycle in the energy metals. And so, you can make some easy money in that just by buying these little-known stocks that have to be part of the solution when supply falls short of demand. In fact, I'll be speaking about this, by the way, in January 19th and 20th. Let me put a shameless plug for the Metals Investor Forum in Vancouver. I'll be at that. I have talked at the last two Metals Investor Forums. Every time that I've talked about energy metals, and every time I've come back, I've hauled up the stocks that I talked about the previous time, and I said, look what happened, and they always go up. Now, they won't go up forever. In fact, we saw lithium stocks fall asleep for 2 months, but the big trend for them is higher. So, I think people should stop worrying about the Dow, which, yeah, it looks overpriced, but God knows it can get higher. The market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. So don't try and pick the top in that. Don't try and pick the top in Bitcoin. Don't try and pick any of those tops, but buy the things where we see genuine trends which are very, very bullish, and just ride that along, and you will look like a genius to all your friends. That is what I would recommend to anyone, and so I think that's what people should do.
Sean, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you very much for having me on.
My guest has been Sean Brodrick, Senior Analyst for EdelSonInstitute.com. You're listening to HowStreet.com radio. If you have any questions for the show, you can send them to info@HowStreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.